Can you hear it? Isn't that a beautiful sound? On a beautiful 50-degree Michigan day? Guess what I'm making? I want to make some maple syrup this year. I got to get a move on whether I'm feeling well or not. Along this road here, you could see all these maple trees. This great big one by my driveway, that one. Those are all maple trees, all the way down to that one, that great big one, which I won't touch because that's full of poison ivy. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 really, really close by my house right in the front. And, you know, they're old trees. I don't want to overstress them. These trees are, from what my understanding is, about 100 years old. So because I have so many trees, I'm going to do no more than 2 taps per tree because I don't want to harm these old girls here. So anyway, I'm going to show you how, with no money, I'm going to make me some maple syrup for this year. And we're going to start with this little girl right here. Now, the best way to do this, I found, is to put your tap on the south side of the tree, if at all possible, because obviously that side warms up faster. If the sap's going to flow, you need to remember that the sap needs to be below 0 at night, above freezing. Works best if it's above 45 during the day, and the sap will flow. So let's look at the ridiculously cheap way that I'm going to do this with materials that I find around my house. And let's get started here. All right, now when I'm making this, I don't want to go out and spend a ton of money. So you know me, I went through my junk drawers. Basically, you need a way to put a hole in a tree. So I found my drill and my drill bits. Okay. You need a tube of some sort for the sap to run through. And I found some unused aquarium tubing. This is a little on the small side. It's not going to flow very well. It's what I have. So when you think about it, hello, say hi, Louie. You're going to, you might want something a little bit larger. You don't want to go huge, no more than 1/4 inch or 3/8 of an inch, something like that, because you don't want to harm the tree either. So find some sort of tubing, something you can put in that hole, Louie, to get the sap to flow. And for me, a simple container that I get for free are 2-liter bottles. Buckets work great, milk jugs, the empty 1-gallon water jugs. Use what you have around the house. You're going to need to store it for a while. So you have to collect it into something, regardless, whether it's a bucket or, the jugs or whatever. And you need to store it till you get enough to boil it down. All right, the first thing I need to do here is to figure out what size this hole is. You want to make sure it fits really tight so that none of the sap comes leaking around the outside. So I'm going to start with a drill bit that I think it's just a tad smaller because I'd rather be a little bit small. See how it fits inside? Louie, oh, sorry, my cat's wiggling my camera here. And I could always make the hole larger, but you can't make it smaller, right? So I'm going to start with the cap of my soda bottle, and I'm going to drill a hole through the center, and I'm going to check and see, go over here, how that tubing fits. All right, now I know it's going to be a tight fit. That's what I want. Probably too tight. As you can see, that would be, I would have to crimp it down, and it's not going very well into that hole. So I want to go one size bigger. And like I said, it's always easier to go bigger than it is to go smaller. So let me get rid of this bit. I'm sorry, you're going to get wiggled around here a bit. This cat is wanting attention, and he's rubbing on my camera stand here. So next size up, I believe, is this guy here. Okay, this is my next size up. Hoping, oh, wrong way drill. And we will re-drill my hole and fit my, actually that's almost the same, so we'll see how that is. Because once again, this is my preview to what's going inside my tree. And once again, I'm going to try to fit that in the hole. It's still too tight. So I'm going to go up with the next size. Now you don't need to watch me look at every drill size. You need to find the one that works with the size tubing that you're using. All right, I got a nice fit here. You can see it fits tightly, but it's not going to fall out, and it's going to seal properly. So the next thing we need to do is go over to the tree, and we're going to drill a hole in the tree. That's the next step. All right, getting good angles here without being in a big shadow is not easy here, but we're going to try the best that we can here. So basically, you need to find the spot on your tree. Now this is an old tree, as I said, and we need to find an area where I could get my tap in. Hopefully you could see this. I'm basically just literally parallel as possible. Pull off a little bit of this. Okay, as parallel to the opening as possible, I'm going to drill my hole. And I think I'm in reverse. Maybe not. I don't know. Can't tell with this thing. Okay, you want to go in deep enough that the sap starts to run. Again, that's going to depend on how, how thick your tree is, how old your tree is. Okay, I'm starting to see some fluid come out. Not quite there yet. Oh, sorry for knocking you there. All right, now that should let me know if it's going to run. And as you can see, I have some sap coming out. Next step is simply to put your tubing right in that hole we drilled. I let the first little bit come out. Can you see? Look, it's already flowing. It's one thing I do like about clear tubing. And now I just need to attach my collection device to my tree. So let's do that next. All right, I'm going to apologize up front if I get you not the best angle, but the ground is super unlevel here. So basically, you have to have a way to collect your sap. Now, if I have a long tube, I could set it in a bucket on the ground, which is what I've done before. That works fine. I don't have any clean enough buckets for me right now. So I'm just going to rig this up with some baling twine and on my tree. Remember, it's going to get heavy. This, this is going to be a 2-liter, and it's going to weigh about 4 pounds or so when it's done. So you may have to come out and check on it. And I'm going to go around my tree where I can, and I'm going to wedge it up in some of this bark to help keep it. And as you can see, hopefully, we've got a nice drip going here. My next step literally is I'm going to put my tube in the bottle. I didn't cut an angle at this end. I should have told you, get yourself a little pair of scissors. When you put it in the tree as well, just cut like a little 45-degree angle. It just makes it easier to put the things in. And it'll help you collect it up. So literally, I'm putting my tube in the bottle. And I'm going to back the cap off just a little bit because I don't need it airtight. And I'm going to give it lots of slack here because, again, if this pulls it down, my tube's going to come out and it's going to pull it out of the tree, and I'm going to lose all that beautiful, rich sap for the day. So I'm going to make kind of a slip knot here. So I should have put it around the bottle first, obviously. Let's do that now. It's a nice thing about having the lids. I can remove it. Now you don't have to have the lid on. If you're worried about it pulling the lid out, by all means leave your lid out. I just basically use that as a way to make sure my tubing was the correct size. So till I know for sure, I'm taking my lid off. I don't know how far this is going to pull down out of the weight. And it's a matter of letting Mother Nature do her thing. Now, if it's a super windy day, I would take another piece, which I may do that after we're done here, of my baling twine, go around the tree, just secure it against the tree so it doesn't blow. But we'll come back in. Let me get you a little close up here so you can see what I did, okay? I put the twine around the tree. We've got our hole with the sap flowing. I hope I'm not making too big of a shadow. The tubing goes into my bottle. The bottle's hung from the tree. That's it. That's all I need to do right now. I'm going to come back in probably an hour and check on this because I don't know the flow rate and how often I'm going to need to empty this. And it's a matter of washing out some more bottles and switching them out. I only needed the one cap with the hole in it for now, and once they're full, they're going in my freezer if I don't use them up in the next couple of days. So anyway, here we go. Tapping a maple tree for free with things you find around your house. You don't have to have a $100 kit with a couple of buckets and the spiles and the drill bits. If you have that stuff at home, use what you got. And we'll come back and we'll take a look in a little while. I guys want to do a quick update. It's been less than a half an hour. Look what we got already. Can you believe it? So I know I've got an hour and a half to 2 hours. I need to be out here checking it, emptying it. And, you know, I had another idea, better than the baling twine idea. Went through my junk drawers again. I'll show you that in a second. But while it was in the house, I realized I had an empty 5-gallon water container. Now we have to purchase our drinking and cooking water because our water is very brackish. It's good for, you know, flushing the toilet, taking a shower, but, you know, I collect rainwater for the animals and bottled water for us. So I'm going to let that collect up as much as I can. I have it wedged in there with some sticks. But let me go show you over this other tree another thing that I found. Here's my other tree. A lot easier than the baling twine. You know, sometimes you got to work through these things, right? I found in my junk drawer some cup hooks. So I just took my twine, wrapped it around my bottle, and hung it on the 2 hooks. So there you go. You could put a screw in there and tie around it. You know, come up with your ways, guys. You don't have to spend. I think those spiles in my area were $6 or $7 each. Well, I have 4 holes. If they were $6 each, that's $24 just to make 4 holes in my tree. And I did this for stuff I found in my junk drawer. Anyway, let's come back later tonight and we'll see what we've collected up for the day. I got one more hole to do. Because I have one more cup hook, and then maybe I'm going to find some screws and get a couple more. But this is it for this tree. I'm only going to give it 2, and I'll move on. All right, let's take a look here. I don't know if you can. Wow, that one's got at least a third of the bottle. It's been about an hour since I hung those. So I'm going to go ahead and empty those in case I get busy and I don't get back out here. And we'll see what we got in just about an hour. All right, I emptied 5 bottles together, and I had a tragedy, though. One of them, as soon as I picked it up, I dropped it and went rolling towards the ditch. It stopped before it got there, but I lost half of my fluid, so I know I would have had 2 bottles at least that full. Not bad for an hour on 6 taps. So I'm going to come back at the end of the night and I'll show you everything we've collected today. I wanted to show you what we got today. It is March 16th, 2021, and from those I had remember I did 6 taps, and I ended up with 5 2-liter bottles full, and it is about 7:30 at night, so I just did my last empty. I won't get much overnight because it'll start slowing down now. It's still 41 degrees out though, so it's still dripping slightly on a couple of the trees. The first one I tapped, that one quit, so it's not running as well. Obviously, you know, each tree varies, but if I were to take this right now and boil it down, I would get about a half pint of syrup out of it. So if you want to do a little bit of math, and if I want a quart, say I use a quart a year, which is pretty general for me, I need between 10 and 12 gallons of sap to get a quart, or 40 to 50 gallons depending on the tree, because each tree has a different sugar content, to get a gallon. So anyway, one day I got a half pint towards my quart I need for the year. Anyway, let me know what you think about this video. If you have any questions, any comments, let me know. If you find this interesting, please consider subscribing and hitting that like button for me. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a wonderful day.